Hey peeps, Chip here to tell you about Real Talk Memphis, the podcast, a new name for the same great show. So join me for a great guest with great talk. It's Mondays, 6 to 7 p.m. on WYXR 91.7 FM, the Tunein app, WYXR.org, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, go out and tell somebody.
And it is straight up 6 o'clock on Monday, May 10th, 2021. On the day the FDA has decided that, yes, ages 12 through 15 can also get vaccinated. More on that in a minute. But as we usually do right around this time, Real Talk Memphis starts now.
It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk. Yeah. With the main Chip Washington. It's real talk. Man, it's real talk. With your main Chip Washington. When it comes to information, the main got an arsenal. Bring you up to speed with what you need. He's the local and nationwide news feed. Let's talk about it. Dialect to do something about it. Chip got the flow wide open if you got questions about it. Man, it's the show that brings you to your raw. To solve all problems, it starts with real talk. Real talk. It's 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 real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
And here we go. It is Monday, as I said a few minutes ago. And usually at this time of day, by the way, it was a pretty nice day as well. It is time for Real Talk Memphis. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. Very happy to be here. Very happy to have you with us on this day. I trust that you had a good week since we last communicated. And yesterday, of course, was Mother's Day. So I hope that each and every one of you who are mothers, who are mother figures, who are grandmothers, anybody who helped to mold and shape and raise and bring us up, I hope that you, and I trust that you had a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day on yesterday. Having said all of that, moving forward, we starting a brand new week, of course, and we are going to kind of look back on some things. There has been a lot of news the last day or so, and we are going to get into that in a minute. Have a pretty good show for you tonight. We are going to talk a little bit about COVID and vaccinations. Big news this afternoon, late this afternoon, the FDA has approved and said yes, that ages 12 to 15 can now get vaccinated, or now can now get the Pfizer shot. And we're going to talk to someone who is expert in the world of pediatric care. He is Dr. John McCullers. He'll be my first guest tonight. And as we move along, now I have to preface my next guest by saying I have been trying to get this man for the last couple of years. He doesn't do many interviews at all, and when I get him on, and hopefully we will get him on here shortly, he will say the same thing. I will ask him, and I say, why don't you do interviews? He just doesn't do many. But anyway, he is a recent inductee into the Tennessee Broadcasters Radio Association Broadcasters Hall of Fame. He is Bobby O.J. You can listen to him each and every morning, 6 to 10 a.m. on WDIA Radio. And the next half hour, we're going to talk to a man that many of you know from his business. He is a car dealer. He runs Chelsea Auto Mart. And many of you, as I've perused his page, are very, very happy with not only the vehicles that he has, but the service that he provides as well. There was a story about Marvin Coleman in the paper last week that really got my attention. This man has had quite the road, and I would say a rough road to a redemptive road, and now he is helping to give back to the community, and that is, of course, something that I am very interested in. And when you hear a story, I think you'll be interested in it as well. If you have celebrated a birthday, an anniversary, or a special occasion like, let's just say you're part of the class of 2021 and you had commencement this weekend, congratulations to each and every one of you. I saw several, pictures on Facebook and other social media venues showing proud graduates and proud parents of graduates and relieved parents of graduates as well. So for the U of M and UT and several other places. And now we're going to start to see that now in the next few weeks. More and more graduations are coming up as well. But congratulations to each and every one of you. If you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday, an anniversary, happy anniversary. I will take note of a couple of birthdays that I'm aware of. Today, Beverly Elaine Johnson, a.k.a. Bev Johnson, WDIA radio fame. She's celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Bev. And Mike Williams, the former president of the Memphis Police Association, is also celebrating his birthday today as well. So you two, along with so many other folks who are celebrating a birthday today, congratulations to you and happy birthday. I said it before and I'll say it again. It only takes one. If one of you reaches out to me and says, Chip, got a birthday coming up, anniversary or something special coming up, would you mind shouting this out on the radio? I'm on the radio, right? You do know that, right? You're listening to me actually on the radio. It's a podcast. So we can actually put that out there. We can mention it. We can make you a star. We can make you a shining star. Look, if you guys can go on Facebook hours before your actual birthday date and promote it, and especially the day of your birthday, hey, it's my birthday, then you can, shoot me a messenger or shoot me an email, cwrealtalk@gmail.com. Let me know you have a special day or a special event or a special occasion coming up, and I will hook you up. I also want to, before I move too far into this, acknowledge the passing of someone who was very important to me. Gregory Peters was a big-time radio guy in this town for a long, long time. And he passed away suddenly the end of last week. And I tell you, when I heard the news, I was stunned. I was floored. I really was. Anything that's sort of unexpected, kind of you get that general reaction, and that was the reaction I got. Ever since I decided I wanted to try my hand at this radio deal, I sought him out. I sought his counsel. I sought his advice, and what to do, how to do it. And he never hesitated, not one time, to reach out to me and say, Chip, XYZ, blah blah blah. And he was just very supportive, very encouraging. And not a lot of folks will help you, especially if you're in the business that they're in as well. Folks feel like it's a competitive thing. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm just trying to do what I feel compelled to do. So Greg died. He was 54 years old, and may he rest in peace. And I know he's looking down on us now from heaven with some headphones on and doing his thing. So miss you, big guy, and thank you for everything you have done. News and notes. I read earlier this morning that Memphis is ranked number 3 as the most dangerous city in America, only behind Detroit and St. Louis. Now, if you were, out and about this weekend, or you turned on some news, you heard, typical, the violence, the shootings, everything just continues on. It's becoming as normal as you getting up, getting dressed in the morning, and I don't know what to say about it, and I don't know what we can do about it. We have a new police chief that will take office officially in June, I believe June 14th. C.J. Davis is going to be the new police chief of the Memphis Police Department. I don't think one person can help to change what is going on out here in these streets. Many have tried. This is a societal situation. And when 201 Poplar, CJC, whatever you want to call it, whenever it becomes actually something that people don't want to go to, then I think we're going to be okay. Then maybe we'll see some change. Maybe we'll see a difference in how things are done. Because right now, let me tell you something. There is no deterrent. And I know Bobby OJ likes to talk about this a lot. So we'll have that conversation, I'm sure, in a few minutes as well. There were 6 people shot and killed last night in Colorado Springs at a birthday party. Apparently, the suspect was a boyfriend of one of the female victims. He shot and killed 6 people, then he shot and killed himself. So, prayers for all concerned. There were 9 mass shootings in this country this past weekend, and I heard this on CNN before I left to come here. 400 people in this country were shot in 72 hours. 400 people were shot in 72 hours in this country. Tell me there's no problem? There's a big problem. 4 teens ages 17 through 19 are in custody for the shooting and wounding of a Memphis Police Department officer and an ATF officer. That happened on Friday afternoon. 4 teenagers, ages 17 through 19, are in custody for first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and various other charges as well. Bad weather yesterday in Tipton County in particular. I know some of us saw some rain and heard some thunder and got a little downpour, but they had a tornado, and it was determined that it was an EF1 tornado that roared through that area late yesterday afternoon, early evening. And if you watch the news, they had some damage out there. It's going to take a minute for them to sort of assess things. And, of course, the cleanup is always going to be a difficult journey as well. There's a new health directive coming out this week for Shelby County. We all know that the governor has dropped the restrictions and the mandates statewide. But what is Shelby County going to do? Well, we'll find that out coming up on Wednesday when the new health directive comes out. As I said earlier, now that we have the 12 to 15 year olds that are eligible for the vaccine, the question is, what will the parents do? Will the parents say, yeah, we're going to get our kids vaccinated? There is a vaccine hesitancy, not only here in Memphis, but throughout the state of Tennessee as well. So we'll see how all that shakes out. In the meantime, there is a barbecue cooking contest, which is sort of the first leg of the Memphis in May deal. It's going to be a lot smaller, a bit scaled down, but it will happen later on this week. So if you are into all of that barbecue and that food smelling good and going down there, Riverside Drive, help yourself. Have a good time and enjoy yourself down there. It looks to me as if a lot of folks are saying, yeah, this COVID thing's about over. If you go out in the streets, you don't see a lot of folks with masks on. You don't see a lot of folks doing the social distancing thing. It is what it is in terms of that. But and I do think that we're going to see a lessening of restrictions. But we are going to talk to Dr. McCullers about that in just a couple of minutes. And pay attention to what this is about, because this is going to happen nationwide. During COVID, a lot of folks lost their jobs, many not of their own doing. They just lost their jobs because, everything had to close down, everything had to change. Well, they increased unemployment benefits to people. If you were unemployed, you got an additional $300 plus whatever you got initially. Well, in most of this country, most people think that this thing is about done. So the various states now are starting to pull back on the unemployment. So in other words, if you're sitting at home saying, why should I go to work for $9.25 an hour when I can stay home and get an extra $300, $350, $400 a week in unemployment? That's about to stop. Mississippi joined that group this afternoon, and sometime next month they are going to cut that out. In other words, nothing extra, just what you get. And basically they're saying, get up and go back to work. So Arkansas decided last week they were going to do that as well. So you're going to start to see that momentum start to build. The days of sitting around the house watching reruns and watching, movies on TV are over. It is time to get back to work. As Mississippi Governor said this afternoon, Tate Reeves, Mississippi is open for business. Well, I guess Tennessee is as well, and Arkansas is as well. So that about wraps up news and notes. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to have our first guest, hopefully. He is Dr. Jon McCullers. This is Real Talk. You know who you are. I am Chip, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Real Talk with Chip Washington. If you're celebrating a birthday, anniversary, or special occasion, shoot him a note and he'll read it on the air. Get involved and tell somebody about Real Talk. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WYXR 91.7 FM Memphis. This is Nancy, and I hope you'll join me on a musical journey from 2 to 4 p.m. Mondays with Memphis Undercover.
Hey Memphis, my name is Ron Buck. I am looking forward to bringing you my show, Riverside, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. I will be playing rock and blues, old and new, and featuring Memphis music and events. I hope you'll tune in to Riverside every Friday at 1 p.m. on WYXR 91.7 FM, Raised by Sound.
Get Real Talk on the Tunein mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis. I'm your host, Chip Washington. Very happy to have you with us, and very happy to have my first guest with us. He is the pediatrician. Excuse me, I've been rehearsing that too. The pediatrician-in-chief at Bonheur Children's Hospital. He's also the chief of pediatrics at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. And if that wasn't enough, he has also been appointed to the Shelby County Board of Health. He is Dr. Jon McCullers. And Dr. McCullers, thank you again for being on the show tonight. I really appreciate it.
Great to be on with you again, Mr. Washington.
Well, I don't know who that is, but Chip is very grateful to have you on the show. So
you got to call me John too, then.
Okay, John. Okay, we'll do that. So listen, we got a lot to get to here. So let me jump right on in. It seems as if there is a trend taking shape in this country, and that COVID is starting to maybe make that right turn. We're seeing restrictions being lifted across the country, and mask mandates changing, and lots of different things changing. And I know that you are on the Board of Health for Shelby County, and you all have been having some pretty intense discussions on making some changes, and it looks like this week that will happen. So can you kind of give us a preview of what we might expect?
Yeah, I think what we'll see is this Wednesday, the health department's going to issue a new health directive, which will go into effect on Saturday night. And what they're going to say is that it's no longer mandatory to wear a mask. It's no longer mandatory for businesses to take certain precautions that we've all been taking over the last year. Instead, the language is going to change to strongly recommend you wear a mask in certain situations, like when you're indoors, or particularly if you're not vaccinated. You wear a mask everywhere, and it's going to tell businesses strongly recommended to keep up that social distancing and to have people wear a mask indoors. But it won't be required or mandated anymore.
So having said what you just said, you realize that the not being mandated but being recommended, that part may fall off of somebody's ears, and they're going to be like, okay, we don't have to wear a mask anymore. Are you concerned at all, that folks will take half the message? Because what you just said was, we are relaxing things a bit, but you really need to kind of use your own judgment in terms of all this. Am I correct?
Yeah, and that really is part of it. And there's two sides to the coin here. The first is that something like 2/3 of all of Shelby County has either been vaccinated, that's about a third, or has had COVID already, that's about a third. For those who have been vaccinated, maybe they do get to make some choices. Maybe it's quite reasonable to say, if you're going to go see an outdoor concert, you're not with a bunch of strangers, you're with your buddies. Well, you don't have to wear a mask, right? It shouldn't be mandated. People should have some choice. At the same time, the flip side of that coin is there's a lot of people have been vaccinated. Unfortunately, most of those are in our neighborhoods of color right now. Mostly our African-American citizens, our Hispanic citizens are the ones who the vaccine hasn't really made it to yet, or who have not been willing to get the vaccine to this point.
So that obviously is an obstacle. And we have seen not only here, but nationwide, there is a general vaccine sort of hesitancy overall. I mean, things are going well for a while, and our older population, pretty much 70% plus of them have been fully vaccinated. But things have suddenly stopped a bit. And what's your take on that?
Yeah, so there's a core group who I wouldn't say are anti-vaccine. They're really anti-COVID. They don't think it's important. They don't think it applies to them. They're not really worried about it. That profile is really, in Tennessee, it's our white, conservative, typically evangelical, typically rural citizens that really just say, I don't really care about COVID. I'm not getting the vaccine, not because I don't believe in vaccines, but because I just don't think COVID's important. It's a little bit different in our communities of color. Most of them are not unwilling to get the vaccine. It just hasn't risen up the priority, or they've had trouble getting, access to it for a variety of different reasons. Just hasn't really happened yet. And most of them are willing to do it if we can reach out and get it to them. That's the challenge right now, is how do we do that?
We are speaking with Dr. John McCullers. He is the pediatrician-in-chief at Bonheur Children's Medical Center. He's also the chair of pediatrics at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. Okay, this is right in your wheelhouse, because this afternoon, late this afternoon, the FDA approved giving the vaccine to ages 12 to 15, the Pfizer vaccine. Give me your take on that.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I've got 13-year-old and 15-year-old boys. And the minute I can get them vaccinated, I'm getting them out there and doing it, just to get rid of that worry. Kids don't have as much disease with COVID as adults do, but some of them do have severe disease. I've got plenty of kids at Bonheur in the intensive care unit with severe disease. It's just rarer than in adults. But I want to get them vaccinated just so they don't have to worry about that, and they don't have to worry about long-term effects. There's so many of these kind of weird long-term effects that we don't understand yet. No reason to take that risk in my mind.
So, having said what you said, there are a lot of cases out here with this this new variant, or this different variant that we're seeing, and it's affecting a lot of our young people. Do you think that now that it has been approved for emergency use, that parents will subscribe to getting their kids vaccinated? Because, you're hearing kind of I don't know, it may be okay for me. And then maybe for some of the adults who haven't yet been vaccinated, they're saying, well, if I'm not going to vaccinate, why would I vaccinate my kids? Is that a concern for you?
Yeah, I think we see a lot of different opinions on this. We have some parents that are saying, I didn't get the vaccine, but I'm getting it to my kids because I want them to play sports. I don't want them to get COVID and miss the season or something like that. Let's just go ahead and take care of that now. We see some others that are saying, well, the kids don't get as sick, so maybe it's not as important in them, or why would I use a vaccine that, is new, even though it's safe, the FDA says, why would I use a vaccine that's new when kids aren't going to get real sick from it most of the time? So there's kind of a lot of different opinions. We won't know until it gets out there just how much uptake we're going to see. I can tell you, most of the kids that I've talked to in that age group, kind of that high school age, they want to get it. They don't care what their parents want. They want to go ahead and get it. Okay. They're tired of wearing masks and all that stuff. They just want to get past it.
Well, Dr. John McCullers, it looks as if we are starting to take that bend toward slowly getting back to normal. And I know all of us, including you, have been waiting a very long time for this. Are you, I know to ask the question, are you ready, is a silly question, but as a society, we're ready. And you feel fairly confident based on the stats and everything that you see medically on a daily basis that we are ready to sort of take that curve back toward normalcy?
Yeah, so I think there's 2 points of view I have there. The first is I'm still very worried about the virus that's circulating out there. It is one of these variants. It is more contagious.
Yeah.
It is more dangerous. And we've seen a shift in who has the virus and what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's younger people. It's more people of color.
Yeah.
Right now, 77% of all infections are in African Americans. That wasn't true 6 months ago. It is true today. And all those young people, we're seeing them in the hospital. Hospitalizations are actually rising right now from where they were a couple of months ago because of this more dangerous variant. At the same time, more than 2/3 of people, maybe 70% of people are protected. So we're ready to kind of move on for most of the population. I just worry that we're still going to see, some cases, some hospitalizations, some deaths before we're finally through with it.
So to close this thing out, we are letting off the reins a little bit. We're pulling back a little bit, but it is still up to us to make wise choices and decisions. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you've not been vaccinated, you need to keep wearing your mask. You need to keep staying out of public. You need to do all those things we've been doing. Only if you've had the vaccine do I say, okay, we're getting closer. I think we can start opening things up and living our lives a little bit better.
Well, my friend, I have been vaccinated, fully vaccinated, so I feel very good about what you just said. And I really thank you so much for coming on the show and dropping the knowledge, as they say, and giving us some factual information. And I wish for you and your family and those around you good health. And until we talk again, thank you so much, John. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much as well.
All right, take care. Dr. Jon McCullers, ladies and gentlemen, he gave us some very valuable information that we all need to know. So again, bottom line is, they're going to loosen some restrictions around here, but don't get silly with it. It's all on us, okay? If you've not been vaccinated, go out and get vaccinated so we can get back to some normal living as things are starting to shift. Another break. When we come back, I'm looking forward to this one. Hopefully he'll be there. Bobby OJ, legendary broadcaster, radio broadcaster. This is Real Talk. I'm Chip. Take a quick break. Right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is Janet, host of Jaunt with Janet, Wednesdays from 4 to 6 p.m., bringing you new releases in the rock, pop, and electronic genres with a little bit of the old fused in, all here on WYXR Memphis 91.7 FM.
Get Real Talk on the Tunein mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis. I am your host, Chip Washington. And I got to tell you, before we even get into this interview, I have been chasing this man down for a couple of years. And I don't think it is a stretch to say that he does not do interviews. He very rarely does interviews. And if you see him, you'll see him generally on TV. But he is a radio broadcast legend. in this state in particular and just in his career. And yes, I'll be the 200th person to say that he was recently inducted or will be inducted into the Tennessee Radio Association Broadcasters Hall of Fame. He is WDIA, and he is Mr. Bobby O.J. Bobby, thank you so much for being with me tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chip. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the kind words.
Well, listen, I've known you for a while now, and I was just when I reached out to you again after I had heard that you had been inducted into the hall, and when you told me yes, I almost fell off my chair.
Well, you know what?
Yes, sir.
Basically, man, when you told me it was going to be done in this manner, I felt comfortable doing it because I didn't have to leave home.
No, sir.
I didn't have to go through a lot. I could just, dial up on my phone and do the conversation. So you made it easy to do.
Well, look, I appreciate that. And again, congratulations from all of us here at WYXR, but just all Bobby O.J. WDIA fans everywhere, not just here in the state of Tennessee, but all across the country on this tremendous honor. And I will say that it is long overdue. But having said that, how do you feel about all that?
I feel great about it. I do. I was not expecting it. When I heard the news, I was like, wow. So I'm elated about it.
It has been a long time coming, and I believe I heard you are the fourth WDIA radio personality to be inducted. Am I correct in that?
Yes, it's Nat D. Williams, who was the first Black radio personality on WDIA. And then there's Rufus Thomas. As you know, Rufus was known worldwide. We also did a radio show on WDIA pretty close to 50 years. And then, of course, there's Bev Johnson. And now it's Bobby O.J. But also, WDIA, the radio station, is in the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. The station was inducted the same year Rufus Thomas was inducted into the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame.
You've been in this business a while, and do you mind telling us how long you have actually been in the radio game?
Since 1972.
And that is how many years? I can't calculate.
That's 49 years.
40. How many?
49.
49 years. 49 years. That is some kind of track record. And, I listen to you every day, and I've heard people ask you, Bobby, when are you going to retire? When are you going to, sit back, relax? And you said, when I can't talk. You love this business this much. What has radio meant to you as you just take a look back over your career?
Well, it's meant a pretty easy life.
Okay. I'll take that.
Listen, anytime you can do what you love for a living, get paid a decent salary for it, that's a great thing. I love to talk on the radio, but when I'm not on the radio, I really don't care that much for talking. Of course, yeah. I mean, I'll talk to people, but I'm not the kind of guy that's going to sit around and just go blah, 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 blah. But, man, since 1972, my life has just been unbelievable in this radio business from working, I could say from coast to coast, but I never worked on the West Coast. Did work on the East Coast for, if you can call Flint, Michigan, the East Coast.
Okay. You worked in Chicago too, did you not?
I worked in Chicago for 4 years, from 1978 to 1982.
Okay, all right. So for those of us who don't know, what brought you to Memphis, Tennessee, and WDIA?
Well, speaking of Chicago, before Chicago, I got my start in Montgomery, Alabama in 1972. Mm-hmm. And from Montgomery, I went back to Milwaukee, where I got my I can't say broadcasting degree. I went to broadcasting school, but they weren't giving degrees. They were giving out, they weren't even giving out diplomas. They were giving out certificates. So I went back to Milwaukee, and I was offered a job there after I'd been on the air for a little while in Montgomery, Alabama. And I was in Milwaukee for about a year. Mm-hmm. And then I got a job offer in Houston in 1973. So I went to Houston for about a year, left there, which was a dumb mistake, and some friends to Flint, Michigan, because I was thinking I'll be closer to Milwaukee. And the reason why I wanted to be closer to Milwaukee is because I had gotten married, and my wife and baby didn't like Houston. So my wife told me at the time, if you want to save the marriage, you need to get back to Milwaukee. So I couldn't get a job in Milwaukee, so I got a job in Flint, Michigan.
Wow.
And I figured I could go over there every weekend. But that was one of the biggest mistakes I ever made, really. But then again, maybe not, because maybe I wouldn't be here. But so after Houston, I went to Dallas in 1977.
Right.
And then I got a phone call to go to Chicago in 78. And that was from 78 to 82. And in 1983, after I had gone back to Houston for a short stint, I got a phone call. February of 83, I got a phone call from the people that were over at WDIA, and they asked me to come and be the program director and the morning man. And that was 1983, and I've been here ever since.
We are speaking with Bobby O.J. He is the legendary radio personality, morning guy, 6 to 10 a.m. Central Time on WDIA Radio, heard coast to coast. And Bobby, you mentioned that you are the program director. You have been for quite some time. For those who don't know, tell us what a program director's role is.
Well, it has changed over the years. When I became the program director in 1983, my job was to make sure that the radio station stayed on track to get ratings so we could get revenue. Okay. My job also was to oversee the music that was played on the radio station, how the music was played on the radio station. My job was to hire the radio personalities, manage them, to work with them, to make sure that they were doing what they were supposed to do on the air. And everything that was on the air was my job as program director. Everything except the commercials. We had a sales department for that. But anything else, from music to the disc jockeys to the news, all of that comes under my job duties as program director.
That's everything. Like you said, that is absolutely, and that's mind-boggling that you have to do that day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year.
Yeah,
how has the role? I'm sorry, Bobby. How has the role of that role in particular changed as time has evolved?
Well, about 20 years ago, up until about 20 years ago, the program director's job. Some radio stations have program directors and music directors. I tried that, but I realized that every week I was going to be spending a lot of time with the music director, disagreeing about what songs ought to be played on the radio station. So since I'm responsible for the sound of the radio station, I thought it would be best if I picked the music too. Mm-hmm. So I still do that, but up until about 20 years ago, the program director would program the music with, we would use little red dots to put on each song. Mm-hmm. And we use a blue dot maybe for the top, for the songs that need to be rotated every 2 hours. Uh-huh. We would put a red dot on a song that has to be rotated maybe every 4 hours. And so, every week, sometimes every other day, you're changing the dots.
On the songs, okay.
On all of these songs, okay. You got like maybe, close to maybe 35, 40 songs that you constantly got to change dots on. Yeah. So every day you're running in the studio, changing these and changing that. Then the other thing is that that's what happened. That's what we did up until 20 years ago. Now, everything is done through a computer. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, right before I got on this call, I was sitting at my kitchen table programming the music for tomorrow. And what I do, the music system schedules the music, but what I do, I go in and I massage every hour, meaning I will look at the music that's going to play in one particular hour, and I'll say, well, this song is not going to sound right after this song. This song right here will sound better after this particular song. So every day, 7 days a week,
wow,
I go through every hour of music on WDIA, been doing it forever, to make sure that one song flows into the next song. I mean, it's because, you know, I just don't believe in sitting around throwing some music on the radio. Like, you know, when I program, man, I like to program based on what I like.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
you know, and so that has proven that based on what I like, a whole bunch of other people like it too, because the radio station is still doing very well. So, you know,
well, it
so
is.
that's how I basically program the radio station, man. Every single day, I massage the music.
That is really, really something. And I would have never known that process, nor would have a lot of other folks who are listening as well. WDIA is a standalone, is one of the greatest stations really in this country. And before I let you go, one last question. What, in your opinion, I mean, I listen to you every morning, by the way, and I'm not just saying that because you're on the radio. I listen to you every morning because I enjoy the music and I enjoy the callers and the colorful folks as well. But what makes WDIA, in your opinion, such a great radio station?
It's a fun radio station. It truly is, man. People love the radio station. Even when I was a kid listening to WDIA down in Mississippi, the radio station was just a fun sounding radio station, just fun. You know, we know how to be serious, but in general, overall, it's just a fun sounding radio station. It makes people feel good to listen to the radio station.
It really does. It really, really does, from the top to the bottom. And you are a master at what you do, not only from the music perspective, but also from the listener caller perspective as well. Bobby OJ, congratulations again on being inducted. Well deserved, well earned, long overdue. And I'm saying thank you from me, but from all your fans as well. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chip. It's been fun talking to you, man. Thank you so much.
Well, it's been great talking to you as well. Thank you, Bobby OJ. We'll talk soon.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, buddy. Bobby OJ, ladies and gentlemen, the legendary radio personality. You heard him, 49 years on radio in this country and been at WDIA forever. And, of course, a recent inductee into the Tennessee Radio Association Broadcasters Hall of Fame. One more break. When we come back, we are going to talk to Mr. Marvin Coleman, and we are going to talk about his past, his present, and what he is looking at in terms of his future. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Real Talk with Chip Washington. If you're celebrating a birthday, anniversary, or special occasion, shoot him a note and he'll read it on the air. Get involved and tell somebody about Real Talk. We'll be right back.
It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
It's your man, Deadboy Cortez, right now, man, checking in just to let you guys know each and every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on WYXR, me and my man DJ Chris Cross gonna be going crazy on Literally Lit, man. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. 8 to 10 each and every Thursday. We'll be there. Bow!
This is Bishop Phoebe Rofe of the Episcopal Diocese of West Tennessee. Tune in every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. at WYXR 91.7 FM to hear conversations with community leaders about the role of faith in their lives. That's Faithfully Memphis, right here on WYXR FM.
Superman. There's really nothing better than a box of records. Not even a bottle of beer. Drinks are gone in a matter of minutes, but vinyl just won't disappear.
Hi,
Hi there, this is Zach Ives. My show, A Box of Records, plays every Tuesday night, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., right here on WYXR 91.7 FM, Memphis, Tennessee.
Get Real Talk on the Tunein mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis. I am your host, Chip Washington. Very happy to have you with us. By the way, I didn't say this at the top, but there are a few ways you can catch us. You can obviously catch us live right now on 91.7 WYXR FM. You can also go to the TuneIn app and put in WYXR in the search, and you'll be able to pick us up crystal clearly. Or you can go to the website, which is wyxr.org, and hit the Listen Live tab, and you'll be able to hear us, again, crystal clearly. Now, the show is a podcast, which means it's on several platforms that you can hear anytime. It will be posted tomorrow, so sometime maybe after tomorrow noon, you can go to wherever it is you get your podcast, and you can hear us. You can hear the show. So far, been a really good show. Now, Marvin, I don't know if he's going to join it. We're trying to get him. This technology thing is a little, little sketchy. But if we can get him, we will. But in the meantime, the show, as they say, must go on. Very enjoyable conversation. And if you missed it, please go back and catch it tomorrow. With Bobby O.J., the legendary radio broadcaster. He, like I said, he doesn't do interviews that often, and he did do one last week. I think I saw him on Fox 13 talking about the fact that he was inducted into the Radio Broadcasters Hall of Fame. But yeah, I mean, when you can have somebody, come on from the comfort of their home and they're comfortable and relaxed and doing their thing, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. So, and he gave us a lot of insight into how he does what he does and how radio has changed in the last couple of decades in terms of how a program director used to be. He's been on mornings forever. I can remember, listening to him 15, 20 years ago, and some of the folks he had on the morning show, some of the folks who are no longer, with us, who are, watching us from heaven these days. But he has endured, he has lasted, and he is still doing his thing. And if you listen to his show, AM 1070 WDIA, 6 to 10 a.m. in the mornings, at some point, like around 9 o'clock, he takes phone calls from people. And that is, to me, sort of the icing on the cake, sort of the whipped cream on the cake for him in terms of getting these folks, and talking about various news and notes that he sees and that he has very strong opinions about. And I think he does a lot of what he does, purposely just to sort of get a rise out of some of the listeners. So they call in and express themselves on various issues. The same phone callers call each and every day. Now, there are two live broadcasts, his show from 6 to 10, and then Bev Johnson's show is from 11 to 1. And I guarantee the same calls, the same people that call Bobby's show, the same people that call Bev's show and by the way, again, if you missed it, Beverly Elaine Johnson, Bev Johnson, who's also been in the business about 4 decades, celebrating her birthday today. And I'm sure that she got many, many, many phone calls and many texts, and a lot of folks reaching out to her as well. Well, Marvin hadn't checked in. I'm looking at my guys over here, and he still hadn't come on board. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get him tonight. If we don't get him tonight, we'll get him. Can we do it on the phone? We're going to try. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, because, Marquette, and I got smart guys here. We're going to try to see if we can get him on the phone. You want me to call him? Yeah. Okay. Hang on just a second. We're going to try to see if we can't call Marvin. And we're going to see if we can't get him on the phone for a few minutes. But anyway, and earlier we were talking about to Dr. Jon McCullers about big news this week. Big news here in Memphis and Shelby County. Of course, the governor decided a couple of weeks ago, that Tennessee was open for business. Hello? Marvin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. For reason I compare to the room I was trying, man.
That's okay, man. That's okay. Listen, we got you. We really appreciate it. You guys give me a time check, okay, because I can't see. He's got my phone. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Marvin Coleman on the phone. Now, Marvin, of course, is known throughout Memphis and Shelby County as the man that runs Chelsea Auto Mart. And, of course, a lot of folks, thank you, Marquette, a lot of folks know him, and a lot of folks have some very good things to say about him. But I read an article about him in the paper last week that was done by Tanya Weathersby, and it really basically talked about your story, Marvin, from the time that you were young, and you had to go through some trials as well. You were around when Shannon Street happened in this town. I guess you said you were 13 years old. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, obviously that, even today in this town, is still resonates with a lot of people. Does it still resonate with you, that whole situation?
Without a doubt. First, I want to thank you for having me on your show.
Yes, sir.
But without a doubt, I ride past the house almost every other day. They have tore it down, but the memory's still there.
Yeah.
I work in the area. I'm from the area. My best friend stays right down the street from me. So, of course, I mean, you relive that from time to time.
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of skip ahead because I'm a little short on time. But you did serve a stint in prison. You were incarcerated for a while but you paid your debt to society, and of course, I'm imagining that that experience in particular is what sort of led you to reconfigure your life and rechange and refocus. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, I was a victim of my environment. I got caught up in the drug trade, which was a war on drugs, which became a war on young black men. And my first felony adult charge I caught cost me 13 years in federal prison.
Wow. So 13 years in federal prison, and so when you got out, I take it that you rededicated yourself, you rededicated your life to bettering your community. Talk about that.
Yes, sir. When I went to prison, I didn't have a GED. I received my GED. I received my associate degree in business and commerce. I took like 59 vocational trade classes and air conditioning, heating. So I stayed busy.
So and when you got out, of course, you've been doing this the car dealership for a while in the same area that you grew up in. How long have you owned the Automart out there, Chelsea Automart?
We've been in business now since 2015, and my testimony, I went from washing cars to selling cars. I had a mobile detailing service first, and me and my brother, we started grinding, and God blessed us with the opportunity to buy a couple lots in the neighborhood, and we just built on it. It was a process. We bought our first lot in 2009, and we just took our time, pooled our resources together, and built a company.
We're talking with Marvin Coleman, and Marvin, I wanted to talk a little bit about your foundation, if you will. It's called We Care Memphis. What's that all about?
Oh, no, sir. We're called Partners in Unity.
Partners in Unity. I'm sorry. I was looking at. Okay,
yes,
I got
Partners in Unity.
Okay, yeah. Talk to us about that.
Okay, well, we started in 2018. Most of the guys from the neighborhood, I've got like 7 or 8 brothers that also been incarcerated in the federal prison system, and through our other brothers who, when we got out, supported us. My brother, shout out to my brother Alpha Washington, top-notch security. Some of those brothers, Joe Brown. When we started putting our resources together in 2018, we passed out 1,000 backpacks, which we called it Family Day. In 2019, we did 1,500 backpacks, and we just continued just to build on that. This year for Thanksgiving, we passed out 250 turkeys. For Christmas, we did over 330 coaching tours for our children in the neighborhood.
Why is this important, and what message are you trying to send to the community?
First of all, I mean, there's an epidemic going on with our youth. Violence is everywhere. And, like I say, it takes a village to raise a child. So we just want to extend sometimes just that arm of love to let the young men know that, you can change. You can better your situation, your conditions, and even your community. So we just try to reach out on a daily basis, because it's a daily job. It's not no days off on this job. It's every day we try to be of a service to our neighborhood and our community and not a disservice.
Reach one, teach one. That is so needed, not only in your community, but the entire city of Memphis and the entire county of Shelby. Marvin, I am so happy that I had a chance to chat with you tonight, and people had a chance to listen to you, because I could hear your heart, and I can hear that you have a heart for others and that you have a heart to better the community. And I just want you to know that I appreciate everything that you're doing, and that we are always going to support you anytime you need it.
Okay. Hey, listen, Chip, I want to thank you again for the opportunity. I want to give a shout out to Bobby OJ, the legend, the Don.
Yes, sir.
Listen to him. My mom, everybody in my family. And also, again, like I said, I thank you again for your support and also for the opportunity.
Marvin Coleman, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Take care of yourself.
All right. You have a good day, brother.
All right. You too. All right. There you go. That's a great way to end the show. And as Marquette plays us out, I tell you what, this has been a good show tonight. I really enjoyed it. I always enjoy coming and visiting with you all on Mondays. And listen, if you like what we do, tell somebody about it, please. I'm trying to get some support for this show, trying to, build the show, build the audience. And I can only do it if I have your support and your encouragement and your motivation. So in the meantime and between time, you guys have a great week. You be safe and you be careful and you look after each other. Please support each other, okay? For Marquette, for Adam, for Chip, this is Real Talk Memphis, and we are out.
It's real.